Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for May 16th, 2016. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka Pivot Boss, with analysis for the upcoming session and week. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES here. We have our micro composite VPOC on the board. Basically, our micro composite VPOC is 2049 quarter. We have composite at 2061. Prices kind of just chopping around that area. I've made mention before that there's no real edge around composite VPOC when you're trading in this area. I mean, it can snap back and forth, back and forth. You can see prices really just trading off the value area of the current developing micro composite range. We're just seeing a lot of what we saw before. Chop around this 2061 is something we anticipated, and now we have a lot of trading around that area, which is very nice. What we're looking for now is perhaps for price to come off of this zone at some point and see some type of expansion. But until that occurs, what we're looking for is back and forth activity around value. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that when price gets too undervalued here, it usually snaps back up toward value and then perhaps to the top of value. So right now, keep an eye on 2049s, because if price pushes through 49s, we could be looking at a mark up all the way back toward 2073 to 2080. If we take a look at the intraday time frame right now, one thing I want to check out is the previous week's low price, 2038.5. You can see how prices below that area have been immediately rejected already in overnight and pre-market trading. Prices have stayed above 2042s to between 2049 and 42s right now. Again, 49 quarter is MCVPOC. So we're just chopping around this area right now after seeing a rejection here. I would say if prices remain above the previous week's low here, we could slowly move our way back up toward 2073 to 2080 throughout the course of the next few days. And again, above 49 here with an upside bull target, we could see 52 quarter and 58 sometime by the end of the day if bulls can continue to keep 38.5 bid. All right, taking a look at crude oil. Here's a look at crude oil. You can see we weren't fooled, at least not yet. What we've been looking at here was the previous month's close here and how prices had been below that area to begin the month. However, bears defending off the previous month's close were not getting paid. Eventually, price went bid through that area, and right now, bulls are defending the zone between 45.66 and 46. First shot at squeezing into our primary target for the week, which is now 49.08. And that is also the HVN that we've been pointing to for the last month. So over the last month, what we've been talking about right here since this time was look for a pullback, look for bulls to defend the pullback, and then push this thing toward 49s. So far, that remains intact. I would say that above, again, this 45.66, that's where price needs to stay above in order to reach that upside point. But it may not be a straight line. We'll see how it plays out. But overall, I still believe upside bias takes us to 49.08. Failure to hold 66s here opens up a return to 43.85. On an intraday basis here, what you see is prices very bullish to begin the overnight trade and pre-market here. Overnight trade here took us bid through 46.40, significant push higher. All rotations after that have been buying opportunities on the way up. Anytime that happens, you look for your primary upside target, which is 47.52, almost there in pre-market trading, which means you have increased odds at seeing the outer targets at 47.97 and perhaps even higher into 48.43. So 47.97 would be the upside target to play toward the rest of the session here, with 48.02 being the 25% expansion target. Now this one is the expansion target for the week, I believe. So taking that off, taking this back on, that's the primary target for the week in terms of the first rejection fade. So if we get into 48, it could be a first test fade opportunity. All right, let's take a look here at gold futures. Here's a gold futures. Basically, we've talked about this one having more of an upside bias. However, especially if prices remain above 65 to 67. However, it hasn't been pretty, and there's been some violent shakeouts back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I've mentioned that I still believe further upside price discovery will be seen into 1338 to 1341. That's this zone right here. And those two are corresponding 100% key range targets. So I believe that this is a magnet that the market is shooting for. If prices can remain above this zone, the expectation is for further strength into that area. Failure to hold 65s would open up a return back toward composite V pocket 1236 half. Let's take a look at the NQ here. The NQ shows that prices have returned back toward 43s. Bulls currently defending this area, attempting to keep it bid. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if price comes up toward these highs and cannot see acceptance above 44s, I think the stops are going to come out below 43 and we may see a little bit more weakness. So it's going to be important to see how price begins the week. Taking a look at the previous week's high-low close, you can see 43.0375. That's the previous week's low, so far above that level. Price is also attempting to hold above the previous week's close and the previous month's close. So a lot of key levels here. If there's any rejection above 43.30s, that could put pressure on 4,300 and look for a 42.46 first test down below to begin the week. So this is going to be very important. On an intraday basis, what you see here, 43.30, that's the level to watch. So again, if prices push back into this area or even come a little below it, but eventually get above it, that can push you right into 5-day value. That's 43.52s with a shot a little bit higher. But I think any failure to hold above 43.30 and maintain acceptance above that zone could open up a big time retest at 43.03 to begin the day. All right, let's see how this thing turns out the rest of the week. Good luck and trade well. Happy Monday.